Hello, very good evening to you. Welcome to Wednesday night's calendar.
Thank you for joining us. Here are tonight's main stories.
Navigating choppy economic waters.
How does this one measure up?
It's not good. It's not
Yorkshire's holiday hotspots count down to rising costs.
We might have had a mostly sunny start to the Easter break, but there are some financial headwinds forecast for tourism businesses.
Also tonight, amid mounting pressure to nationalise Scunthorpe Steelworks, why its future could be decided within days.
The pride of Yorkshire, Burley and Wharfdale's Harry Brook on becoming England's new white ball captain. Plus,
honestly, you could have literally knocked me over.
We're joined by an Emmerdale favourite who'll tell us his very personal reason for taking on the London Marathon.
And it was an all or nothing kind of weather day today. Nice in the sunshine, not so nice under the cloud. Where does that leave us for the rest of the week? All the detail a little later on.
But first tonight, while we may have enjoyed a bright start to the Easter holidays, businesses in one of our biggest holiday resorts say dark clouds could be gathering on the horizon.
yes, with family budgets tight and business owners facing increasing costs, including the hike in national insurance, which comes into force this weekend, those who make their livelihoods in Scarborough say times are tough. Well, Michael Billington has spent the day in the seaside town talking to those who say the coming season is an uncertain one.
Even grey skies and a bracing breeze doesn't prevent the hardiest of souls braving a chilly Scarborough seafront. But with temperatures climbing into the start of the summer season, so too is the cost of doing business. It's made for choppier waters for speedboat owner Rudy in the wake of rising staffing costs.
With the national minimum wage going up, that's really sort of hit the small businesses, particularly in tourism and around Scarborough. We've tried our best to absorb those costs, but it's obviously been a bit of a shock for us. Obviously, we are seasonal, so we do have to recruit for the summer months. But we're starting to look at: do we need the extra staff? Can we just work a little bit harder? We are shortening the shifts if we need to. We just had to react.
Good morning, the Paragon. How can I help?
4 generations of Lynn Jackson's family have worked in hospitality. And at her B&B, the financial situation this season is a little less comfortable than in previous years. How does this one measure up?
It's not good. It's not started well. We've seen the highs and the lows. Over 37 years we've seen, I don't know how many recessions. I consider that we're in one now. Definitely feels like it and have been for the last couple of years. It keeps telling us it's not, but it does feel like one. And I think when it comes down to it, if it feels like you're in one, you're in one.
A sunnier forecast would set this town on track for a stronger start to the season. And despite the financial headwinds at the mini railway, owner John is adopting a more positive outlook.
The way we're sort of going to try our best to manage the situation is being a little bit more thrifty with our staffing. It's not necessarily cutting back, but it's just managing the situation. Our staff are really sort of valuable to the railway, and if we didn't have them, everything would fall to bits. So we've got to keep investing in them and try our best to deal with the situation that we can.
Unlike this leisurely trip along the coast, fears of a rough ride then for some traders at the start of what should be their most lucrative time of the year.
Well, you've heard a number of concerns there today, Michael. And what exactly does the rise in national insurance mean for businesses?
Well, their NI contributions for their staff are to go up on Sunday to 15%, but then the threshold at which they start paying those contributions is being slashed from just over £9,000 a year to £5,000. Now, you heard what the tourism businesses I spoke to said. They are already being more careful with their staffing to try and keep their wage bill lower. The government say that they have taken the difficult but necessary decisions to wipe the slate clean and properly fund our public services. They insist that they're putting more money in working people's pockets. But the impression here is that more and more working people are becoming increasingly reluctant to spend that money, and so perhaps the feeling really is that people are not quite as well off as ministers would have us believe.
OK, Michael Billington, live in Scarborough. Thank you.
The family of a teenager who died after being hit by a car in Bradford say he was a gentle giant who will be missed by everyone. 15-year-old Christopher Dobson was crossing the road in the Eccleshill area on Saturday night when it happened. He died at the scene. In a statement today, his family said his love, kindness and joy would never be forgotten. A 35-year-old man was arrested and has been bailed on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving and suspected drug driving offences. Well, next to the mounting pressure to nationalise British Steel in Scunthorpe.
Yes, firms from across the country have begun to add their voices to similar calls already made by some politicians and industry leaders since the company announced plans to shut its 2 blast furnaces with the loss of thousands of jobs. Well, Fraser Maud joins us from Scunthorpe. And Fraser, what are these firms saying?
Yeah, well, as you say, Lisa, we've been hearing from across the political spectrum for calls for the nationalisation of British Steel in order to preserve it. We're hearing that from many businesses as well now, some of them involved in the supply chain, others who use the steel produced here in their own manufacturing processes. One of those companies is the structural steel firm Reed Steel, and Simon Boyd from there feels so strongly about this. He's written to all 650 MPs, including the Trade Secretary and the Prime Minister, saying that the time for action is now.
If there's ever been a time to support British manufacturing, it is now. If we become reliant on imported steel, we are finished as an independent nation, the one that started the Industrial Revolution with coal and steel. Everything we have today involves steel. We need the government to get behind us and to take this back into public ownership without delay.
That was Simon Boyd. And Fraser, with supplies of coke dropping at Scunthorpe, what would the impact be of turning off those blast furnaces?
Yeah, pretty huge, Ian. The supplies are dwindling. The raw materials that they need to keep the blast furnaces open are in short supply at the moment because Jingai, the company who runs British Steel, hasn't bought any new ones or paid for them. We understand that it could be as little as 3 days, the lead now into them ordering some fresh supplies in order to keep the furnaces going. We've been talking to leading British industrialist Sir Andrew Cook, chair of one of the largest steel engineering firms in the country, and he explained to us just how complex it is, how difficult it is to switch these furnaces off temporarily and switch them back on again.
To retain the steel-making capability, you have to keep the blast furnaces going. If you stop doing that thermochemical reaction, you can't restart it in an existing furnace. You have to start again from scratch.
Well, the Chancellor today has once again reaffirmed the government's desire for a shiny future for British Steel, but as we all know, the clock is ticking.
Fraser Maud, thank you, live in Scunthorpe for us.
Now do stay with us because still to come here on Wednesday night's calendar, a roller coaster running.
And they're top of the pile again.
The race for Premier League promotion looks like it's coming down to the smallest of margins.
And there was definitely more cloud around the region today, which had a pretty dramatic effect on our temperatures across the region. The temperatures are definitely, though, on the rise over the next couple of days. All the detail a little later on.
Yeah, see you in a few moments, Kerry. Now then, safety experts are calling for official guidance on children's car seats to recommend they are rear-facing until the age of 4 to reduce the risk of serious injury.
It comes after a report found that most parents don't know how old a child should be before their seats face forward.
And alarmingly, more than 1 in 10 even admitted not using any restraints when driving with a child under the age of 3. Nick Smith reports.
For most parents, child safety when setting off on a journey is the #1 priority. Current UK law states car seats should be used until age 12, and the seat should be rear-facing for those under 15 months. Alison Lowe is a deputy mayor for policing and crime for West Yorkshire and says many parents are unaware of the laws and guidance.
We engaged with a good egg safety charity and they did a whole series over a summer period across the whole of West Yorkshire of checking car seats, and nearly 800 car seats were checked. Unfortunately, 2/3 of them were not fitted correctly, because there's no point having a car seat, which is a lot of course, if they're not correctly fitted.
According to a survey by child seat manufacturer AxeKid, 2/3 of parents ensure their children are rear-facing until 2 years old, but that drops to just 1 in 5 between the ages of 2 and 4. Hazel Shepherd, mother to 3-year-old Ralph, says a rear-facing seat potentially saved her son's life when they were hit by a lorry.
I mean, myself and my partner got quite severe whiplash. I had seatbelt burns and things like that on myself. So I dread to think what it would have happened to a child that their body is just not developed for forward facing. See, I instantly went round and rushed to him and he was absolutely fine. He's just not fazed by it at all.
At a recent conference on child safety, there were calls to bring the UK in line with Sweden, where rear-facing seats are recommended until at least age 4, with demonstrations where adults could learn how it feels to be in a car as a young infant.
83% of parents are looking for recommendations. We have a duty of care, I believe, to give them the information so they can make informed choices. Legal doesn't necessarily mean safest.
The Department for Transport says they follow recommendations from a UN expert group advising against mandating rear-facing seats until age 4, due to concerns they may be installed incorrectly. But many safety advisors disagree, insisting education on best practice should take priority for enhanced protection of our most vulnerable passengers. Nick Smith, ITV News.
Right now it's time for some sport and Arif is with us. And Arif, it's like promotional musical chairs at the top of the championship, isn't it? It keeps moving around all the time.
Yeah, it does, Lisa. So many twists and turns in this race for promotion. It seems to change after every game. Let me show you how the table looks this evening. It's Sheffield United who have slipped out of the automatic promotion places and into third, and it's Leeds who are back top thanks to a vastly superior goal difference. That's because they put an end to their 3-game winless run up at Middlesbrough. Dan James fired Leeds in front in just the second minute, and it could and should have been more. Al Tanaka and Patrick Bamford both had goals wrongly ruled out for offside. Down in South Yorkshire, though, Sheffield United suffered their second defeat in 4 days. Just the one goal in this one as well. Josh Coburn catching out the Blades keeper from a tight angle.
We found a way to win this game, and way back to winning races. There's no replacement for this winning feeling in the dressing room, and for that I'm pretty happy that we sent our supporters home happy tonight, and that the boys can be pretty proud of themselves.
I understand where we are, and I understand the noise which will be, but still 5 games to go. Still a load of points to play for, but you know, ultimately we've got to be so much better going into those last 5 games of the season, starting on Saturday.
Elsewhere, we only had one other team pick up maximum points. A fully paid Sheffield Wednesday side threw away a 2-goal lead to draw at Blackburn. Matt Hamshaw is making a strong case to get the Rotherham job on a permanent basis. He guided the Millers to a 3rd straight win in League One, and Will Grigg rescued a point for Chesterfield against Gillingham.
So, Arif, I want to talk to you about cricket now,
Yes.
and we heard from the new captain today. How's he feeling?
Yeah, he seems to be taking everything in his stride, Ian. The new one-day and T20 captain Harry Brook was unveiled to the media at Headingley this afternoon. The 26-year-old from Burley and Wharfdale said it was a dream come true to lead his country. He told me there was no hesitation in becoming the first Yorkshireman to captain England's white ball side in 20 years.
I think when you get offered a position like that, captaining your country and leading the boys out, I don't think that you really need to think about it too much. And following on from some amazing players, some great Yorkshiremen as well, and hopefully I've got a lot of people around me that can help me through this period.
And staying with cricket and Yorkshire, you've been speaking to some of the county's women's players, something you know that I'm a big fan of.
Yes, you are a big fan of. Yes.
Tell us more.
Yeah, it's been a busy old day today, Lisa. I joined the new Yorkshire women's side at a sports venue next to Headingley for their media day this morning. In a restructure to the women's game, Yorkshire will play in Tier 2 this year before making the move up to Tier 1 next season. And new captain Lauren Winfield-Hill told me she's looking to bring silverware to Headingley.
My career's probably come full circle really, and committing to the club that I've played my whole life at, push cricket in Yorkshire, get people excited, women's cricket in Yorkshire, and beyond that is to win a trophy. I'm really keen to try and win a trophy with this group.
And good luck to them when the season starts next week. And that's all you sport from me.
Xero accounting software. Sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Thanks very much to Arif. Now then, Kerry is with us. And Kerry, I mean, there's not been much sunshine this afternoon, has there?
Yeah, certainly outside our ITV studios, a bit disappointing. And I think we can still see scenes at Scarborough live at the moment from our cameraman. Yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of cloud there, a little bit disappointing, and we've had a northeasterly breeze and it has made it feel really quite chilly. I mean, this was yesterday in Scarborough. Dale Woodrow had a full all-day breakfast and that was the scene, but it was quite chilly. It has been quite chilly at the coast and we are going to see a bit of a change. This was York at 7 a.m, very misty, murky. You can just about see the Minster there, but just a couple of hours later, a very similar shot, plenty of blue sky, and it really has been hit and miss. So I'll show you the bigger picture. This has been the UK so far today. We've basically had all this cloud coming in off the North Sea along that cold north to northeasterly, and it has been fairly disappointing. So our highest temperatures in the UK have been in the west today, 21 Celsius for Northern Ireland. So if we zoom into our patch just over the last few hours or so, I've got the highest, 12 Celsius. So that is above the average, but disappointing inland compared to previous days. But many parts of North Yorkshire and higher parts of West Yorkshire have struggled to get to double figures today. So they've still been in single figures, but there is a change on the way, you two.
Another change?
Yeah, I think it will feel warmer across many parts tomorrow. Of course, there'll be a bit more detail in the forecast coming up, but fast forward 48 hours, this is our highest or a maximum, our highest maximums for Friday, and inland we're looking at 21s, but see the difference along the coastline, 9 today, we're looking at 17s, possibly 18s by Friday, so that's really good news, isn't it?
It is.
If you like it dry, warm and sunny.
Well, yeah, it's good for those traders on the east coast who were saying they weren't getting many people visiting them.
Yeah, let's hope it goes
honestly,
on
yeah,
that
head to the
boost.
honestly perfect Easter holes conditions as we head towards the end of the week for sure.
Fantastic. Full forecast coming up, Kerry.
Of course.
Thank you.
See you shortly. Now that as Everdale stalwart Bob Hope, actor Tony Audenshaw has been a familiar face on our screens for 25 years. Can you believe it? But in 2015, Tony's wife Ruth was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and just 2 years later, she died at the age of 43.
Well, before Ruth passed away, she left a message for Tony asking him to run for Pancreatic Cancer UK if he ever did the London Marathon again, and in a couple of weeks he's going to do just that. We're going to hear from him in a moment. Let's see him in action first.
As if Marlon and Ron aren't stuck in enough of a nightmare. I mean, she works with Ella.
But none of it seems to make any sense. She's not selfish or the malicious type.
We thought she wasn't. Hey. Oh, ears burning with it. If you come to grovel, don't bother. It won't make me any less angry with you.
Oh, bit of angriness there.
Furious.
Furious. There you are on screen. Off screen, though, very much gearing up for the London Marathon in a couple of weeks. How's it been going?
I'm not injured at the moment, which is always good. I used to run a lot of marathons in the olden days. I did 14 consecutive London marathons. It's very different as a 60-year-old. I've had a lot of injuries last year, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, you're looking in good shape, I have to say, Tony. You
Very
really are.
much.
But there's a very important reason why you're doing this, isn't there? Just tell us about that.
That's right. So the last time I ran London Marathon in 2015, and later that year my wife Ruth was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in her early 40s. And this year, Pancreatic Cancer UK is the official charity of the London Marathon, and they asked me to come back and run. And it's at a pivotal time, both for pancreatic cancer and for the charity as well, in that they're trying to develop this breath test in the lab. They're hoping to raise £2 million. And what happens is the symptoms of pancreatic cancer are quite vague. It can be kind of bloating, indigestion, that sort of thing. And so it's quite hard to tell if you've got it. The idea is you'll go to the doctors, you'll take a breath test, and they'll find these volatile organic compounds, they're called. The machine in the lab can smell it, you can't. And if they find something there, they can fast track you to have a CT scan. And then hopefully they'll deal with it a lot quicker.
And that's what's so crucial, and also getting awareness out there. And Ruth wanted you to do this, didn't she?
Yeah, Ruth was very sure that she wanted her story spreading, and she worked with pancreatic cancer, when she was still with us. They were brilliant with her. They had support nurses. Ruth worked for the NHS herself, so she sort of knew how it all worked. She was always conversing with them. They gave great advice. She fundraised for them, and she left a note saying, "Look, Tony, if you want to ever do the London Marathon again, will you do it for pancreatic cancer? And it never felt like the right time, but this is the right time to do it. And Ruth was a runner herself. We both got our best ever time.
You ran together
at the London Marathon, yeah. Well, we didn't run together because we were an hour apart.
Oh, right,
but we
okay.
used to train together.
You trained together, yeah.
And we did lots of running events together, lots of marathons together, yeah.
How difficult, Tony, is it to be Bob when you've got all this trauma and stress going on in your real personal life? How do you separate the two?
I mean, certainly, you know, when Ruth was ill and when she died, it was difficult to sort of come in and be cheerful, but actually it took your mind away from what was going on. And so, it is weird. You know, I miss Ruth very much. You know, and I'm very grateful to have a job at Emmerdale as well. And they were brilliant with me when she was ill. I've got to say, they were amazing.
Well, all the very best for the big day itself. It's what would have been your 24th wedding anniversary, if I'm right. So, real significance and a really important message.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Such an important cause that he's raising money for there.
Absolutely. But how excited to have the real Bob Hope in the studio.
He was, absolutely.
Wow.
Exciting to have Kerry here as well.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, it was a midweek blip across the region today. Despite that cloudy start and always feeling quite chilly along the coastline, we did have a little bit of sunshine late morning into the afternoon, but soon clouding over again from that northeasterly direction, dragging in the moisture off the North Sea. But the high pressure sinks southwards and we start to improve tomorrow through into Friday. But you can see rain-bearing fronts lining up from the northwest as we head closer towards the weekend. And it does look like becoming at least more changeable Sunday onwards into next week, but still with some sunny spells in between. So overnight tonight, we just look out to east, to the North Sea, for all that cloud working its way further westwards, and quite a lot of areas will see quite a cloudy night. So it's western fringes getting the clear skies, the touch of frost and one or two mist patches by dawn. Otherwise, we're just above freezing. Cool enough start as we head into tomorrow, but we are expecting quite a bit more clouds. 6:19 and 7:58 are your sun times as we head into Thursday. So tomorrow, don't be too disappointed with the cloud first thing. We're expecting it to melt away and retreat to the south and east, so increasing amounts of sunshine even out towards the coast as we head into the afternoon. For all, it's a warmer day. Inland 18s and 19s, but even at the coast mid to high teens, so feeling much more pleasant with an offshore breeze. As we head through into tomorrow night, clear skies and a much better day as we head into Friday. It's looking very likely it will be our warmest day of the year so far, even out towards the coast, high teens and possibly inland 21 Celsius. Make the most of it if you can. From Sunday, definitely more changeable.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yeah, those temperatures next week still above the average, I might say. But yeah, if you like it warm, next few days for you for sure.
Just want to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Great. Do you think the boss will give us Friday off?
I doubt it very much.
We can ask him.
I'll see you later at 10:30.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.